Hello, Uncle Roddus back again with yet another vinyl video. Just tilt that a bit much, eh? Okay, folks, how we going? Yes, it is now the later part of April 2021. So, Uncle Roddus, how is the not buying any records going this year? Well, not too good, actually. Picked up a couple of new releases recently. Playing in the background is this one, playing behind me, or beside me, Negative Nancy's new record. Now, actually I think it's that way. Heat Wave it's called. And this is out on Fish Rider Records. So Negative Nancy's put an EP out that I picked up probably going back a couple of years now. Seen them live a couple of times. Great live band, very raw. Their first EP was pretty raw. What you're hearing right now is my very first listen to it. It arrived just this week on Fish Rider Records, yeah. So they are a Dunedin three-piece, two young ladies and an old-timer from the New Zealand music scene, Mick Alvarado, who's been around for many years. So that's really cool. Glad to have that in my collection now. And also a New Zealand, new New Zealand release, both South Island this time. This one's actually from my hometown of Christchurch. World Series. I've also seen them live a couple of times. I was always quite impressed. They put out a cassette a few years back, which I don't have a cassette player, so no use to me at all. On Melted Ice Cream, I've shown some stuff from Melted Ice Cream before. Haven't actually played this one yet. It is on a coloured vinyl. It is on this nice green vinyl. So yeah, they were a really nice little indie pop band, very Flying Nun influence from memory when I'd seen them live, and yeah, really was quite impressed. So it'd be interesting to see how this album holds up. Now, I'd seen a few of the spiritual jazz compilations on YouTube, Facebook over the while. I hadn't really taken too much notice about it because I've been too busy buying all my New Zealand stuff. But I actually picked a couple of them up to start with. Well, look, I don't know. I just gave in and bought some because they look pretty cool. And I finally got some. I actually bought them directly off their Bandcamp page. So this is Jazzman Records out of the UK. This compilation, a series, is called the Spiritual Jazz series, and this is volume 13. This is actually part 2. Some nice little notes on each of the people of the groups and artists, and then pictures at the bottom of the actual records they came from, which are some records I'm going to have to start looking out for because these are utterly fantastic. Now this one is this is what is happening now in the jazz scene, this particular volume, and the bands are all quite current artists from all over the world, Canada, Germany, Italy, Australia, even USA, South Africa, Spain, Finland, Belgium, and the Netherlands. This is part 1 of this 2-volume set, double LPs. I am absolutely blown away by these. These are so good. These are really good. And so, of course, I had to go back and investigate some of their earlier volumes. Now, the label itself, they're out of print, a lot of them now. They're still available around the world, but from themselves, they are out of print. But I did manage to order 2 more off their Bandcamp. That's about pretty much the only 2 I think that are still available directly from Jazzman Records Bandcamp page. This one here is volume 12. This is Spiritual Jazz collected from the Impulse label. Now, Impulse is a really cool jazz label from way back. I think it was originally started by Creed Taylor, who went on to do the CTI Jazz label. So this is actually a triple LP set. It's a bit of a hard one to... Triple LP with the same things, the notes, good notes on each of the bands, and a picture of the LP that the records, that the songs are taken for. Again, absolutely awesome collection, and they have been getting absolutely thrashed since they arrived, and I've played again and again. And then the last one I managed to pick up is volume 11. Now this is the Steeplechase Collection. Now I wasn't so familiar with the Steeplechase label, but this is pretty damn good. They've done a Blue Note one, they've done like European jazz one. I mean, like I say, they are still available. I see they're around Discogs. I'm probably going to have to try and track them down, because these are just the best jazz compilations that I have heard, and they're going to give me a lot of, trying to look for some of the people that are on it. I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the names. This one, not so much. I mean, I know Mary Lou Williams, but Billy Galt, Sam Jones Quintet, Renee McLean Sextet. I'd never heard of any of those. I know Jackie McLean, and I know some of the other ones, Jackie McLean again. But yeah, a lot of the names I don't really know. Some of the names on this I don't know. The Impulse one, I do know a lot more of the names on that one. And of course the two new volumes, the 13. I don't know quite so many of those, but some of those artists on there are from the International Anthem Records stable, and of course I've shown International Anthem Records before, and I am trying to get hold of some, and I have got some still in the post. I got 4 waiting to come from the States. They have been, they are waiting on a pre-order one that I pre-ordered to come. That apparently is still stuck on a boat out in the ocean somewhere, so we haven't seen it yet. But today I went into town because I hadn't been in town for ages and ages, and I wanted to go into town just to have a look at a display of lathe cut records that have been made in New Zealand by New Zealand underground artists. There's an art display of the old lathe, of these lathe cuts. It's been going for a few weeks, but I just haven't had a chance to get anywhere near it. So I thought I'd go into town. I had a look on their Facebook page about it. What they bloody well didn't tell me was when the hours were opening. I went all the way into the fucking city and they were shut. They weren't open Sunday, Monday. I thought, what a dumbass thing on a weekend not to be open for our gallery. So that was a complete waste of time. And so I had to go and take my frustrations out at the record shop. And so, as I was saying before, International Anthem, I am certainly jumping on stuff from them, and I found this one in the shop. So these are getting distributed in New Zealand, but they're not coming in very thick and fast. And partly because of the COVID thing, I would have seen a lot more of them. But this isn't. I had to check on Discord on my order, make sure this wasn't one of the ones that I ordered, and I didn't think it was, and it turns out it wasn't. Achilles, Navarro, and Chester Holmes, telepathic Afro-Caribbean improvisational duo. That sounds pretty damn good. So I did have a little listen to it just quickly while I was having lunch. Sounds pretty damn good. Lots of stuff happening, not all of it jazz. The first track was quite droney sounding, electronic. So really pleased to get that, and we'll have to keep my eye open in the record shop for more of those. Now, another one I picked up today is this one here, Fantasize Your Ghost. Yes, Fantasize Your Ghost. This is a duo, by the looks of it, both female by the looks of that. Don't know very much about them, but the reason I picked this up was I read a review in one of the Uncut magazines that my wife picked up from the library a while back, and then she actually picked the same copy up. Didn't realise that I'd already seen it, but she picked the same copy up, and I saw this review again, and I remembered seeing this in Penny Lane, and turned out that they couldn't sell it, so it got put in the bargain bin, and they knocked like $20 off the price, so I picked it up for pretty cheap. Brand new, out of the brand new and still sealed, and it is on this translucent light blue vinyl. And I had a couple of listens, well, not had a listen to the first couple of tracks before I started making this video, and it sounds bloody good. Interesting, the review talked about they're from Chicago, which is the home of International Anthem, and they talked about them, how they were kind of in the avant-garde jazz and post-rock scene in that city. So looks pretty promising actually. So I don't know why they couldn't sell a copy of it. Nobody knows who they are. Okay, and then the last two that I picked up today. Whereas I had a look through the jazz section. There wasn't much to be available, to be honest. But after talking about the Impulse label and the stuff on here, I actually found a couple of Impulse records in there. Now they aren't original Impulse issues. They don't turn up very often around, but they were originally, and these are reissues of Impulse records. So we have Ahmad Jamal at the top, Poinciana Revisited, whatever, I can't pronounce that. Poinciana, there. Anyway, this is a New Zealand issue. It's not on Discogs, so I'm going to have to do some work. But this is a New Zealand issue on ABC Records, whoever they are. Originally came out in 1969. I'm not sure when this issue came out, but I'm thinking it came out pretty close to the time of the original release, because it's got the outer folded type of sleeve, which they used to do in New Zealand in the 60s. So that sort of stopped pretty soon after that. So yeah, I'm really excited about that too. So now that I'm a lot more familiar with some of the stuff on the Impulse label from this compilation, I will be picking up some of the stuff. And I'm just out of curiosity, I wonder if this particular record is, because I think he's got a track on here. Ahmad Jamal. No, actually, maybe he hasn't. I've got him on another spiritual, no, Yusuf Lateef is on this one. No, actually he isn't. I've got him on another spiritual jazz compilation that I got via Soul Jazz. So this album is not on that one, mentioned on that one. And then finally, Today and Now by the Coleman Hawkins Quartet. So this is also originally was an Impulse record. This was originally Impulse from 1963. This is a Jasmine Records reissue out of the UK, year unknown. But I would suggest that it could be the 80s. Okay, yeah. Saying that, looking at HMV price tag, actually, yeah, that would be close to being the 80s. HMV shops in New Zealand, or early 90s. Yeah, no release date, but originally 1963. So that's going to be interesting. I've had some early Coleman Hawkins, because he was around for many years before the 60s, and some of the earlier stuff, I'm not a big fan of it, but be interesting to see what that sounds like. I picked it up mainly because it was an Impulse release, and it wasn't expensive, so alright, that's a bunch more records, and so I'm still waiting on some more to come. I've got two lots, like I say, I'm waiting on all the 4 international anthems, which they're now talking next month in May, so they should tune up. The Gordon's reissue's been delayed yet again, and now they're talking in May. There's a bunch of new releases out on the Flying Out website. I've got about 13 of them sitting in my wish list, which I'm not going to be able to buy all of them. But I would like to pick up some of those. And then I just discovered while I was on Discogs putting these on, is that I've actually got 4 records coming from a purchase I did about two and a half weeks ago. I completely forgot about it. So they should be here within the next week. It's been nearly a month since I ordered them, so they should be here bloody soon, hopefully. Anyway, I'll stop prattling on, let you get back to your day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.